from Pure Yoga. Welcome to the forward and reverse practice flow, vinyasa flow. So it's morning for me right now, so whatever time of day you're practicing, just be mindful of your body and just make sure that you move with intention, challenge the body, but also protect the body if there's any issues that you're holding. So today we're going to be adding onto the flow, but as we add onto the flow, we reverse back through the flow to end up back in your place ready for taking vinyasas. Now I am going to cue push-up vinyasas, so if you don't wish to do the push-up, just meet us at down dog when you've finished your vinyasa and hold it there until I return. So we're going to start on the mat on our backs. So if you want to bring your bums into the centre, your heels to the front. Again, make sure you've got some water for the practice because you may need it. It is quite a challenging practice, this one. We've got a few binds that we're going to be doing in this practice, but you can choose whether to bind or not. So come down to laying on your backs, just bring the feet out to that mat width apart and just take a moment here. Find a comfortable space. Check in with the hips, maybe you need to lift that bum to bring that lower back a little closer to the floor. Just let the feet drop out to the sides, to let the hips open a little. Maybe you want to bring the shoulders down a little to take them away from the ears to give some space around the neck. Maybe you want to have a turn of the head in both directions, ready to find that comfortable space at the back of the head. And we're just going to start a practice here, just giving a scan of the body from the top of the head all the way down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips, just having that check-in with how that body feels, any tight spots, any injuries that you're looking after. Move throughout this practice, having all these things in mind, but not letting them disturb the practice necessarily. And whilst you've taken that scan of the body, when you've done that, bring the attention to the breath. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose. Long sigh out through the mouth. And again, take another deep breath in through the nose. And a long sigh out through the mouth. And if you're happy to take those breaths in and out through the nose throughout your practice, feel free to do so, unless you're holding any colds or allergies, in which case use the mouth also. So just noticing the whole of the body, giving to the floor, getting itself prepared for the next practice. Feeling all the weight of the body, maybe starting to feel a little heavier on every out breath. Trying to bring yourself present. Anything that's happened before you've stepped on the mat, anything that could happen when you leave the mat, just try and leave all them things be. And whilst you practice, concentrate on the breath as your 1 point focus. So bringing the feet together in the centre, start to bring your right knee in towards your chest. Take a hold of that knee, squeeze it in towards the body, getting that compression through that right hip. It may feel a little tight if you're doing this first thing in the morning, or everything may feel okay if you're doing a noon practice or an evening practice. But your evening practice, you may feel a little tired, but hopefully this will just give you a little bit more energy. Bring that right knee across, bring the thigh around the outside of those right rib cages, bringing that right knee in towards that right armpit, squeezing in as tight as you can. Then bring that knee back through centre, keeping a hold of the right knee with the left hand. Bring the right hand out to the side, and then just let that right knee come over slightly towards the left side of the mat. Just take in that first rotation. It doesn't need to be deep, just something just to turn and twist that waist. Not trying to force that knee to the floor unless it comes there naturally. Trying to keep that right shoulder down so the chest stays facing up to the ceiling. Then bring that knee back into the centre. Just place that right foot on the floor and let that right knee drop out to the side. Let gravity take a hold of it. Just finding yourself in that supine tree leg position. Just having that external rotation through that right hip. Just taking this hip joint through all its ranges of movement. And bring that knee back into the centre. Straighten the right leg up, pushing the heel away, toes back to the shins. Then if you wish to bring the hands around the leg, then start to walk the hands up that leg, bringing the shoulders away from the floor, trying to bring that leg in a little closer, but keeping it as straight as you can. Toes back, heels pushed up. And then release those shoulders back to the mat. Take a bend back into that right knee. Bring the left knee in to meet the right. Keeping that left knee there, bring the right leg straight on the floor. Squeeze that knee in towards you, into the chest. Holding it in that place for a few breaths. Trying to keep the lower spine grounded. Shoulders pushed into the floor. Then taking that left knee so the left thigh comes around the outside of that left rib cage. Squeezing that left knee in towards the armpit. Holding it here, just taking it into a slight different angle of that ball and socket joint of the hip. Then bring that knee back into the centre. Keep a hold of that left knee with the right hand. Bring your left hand out to the side. And just let that knee of the left go over to the right side of the mat. No reason to encourage it all the way to the floor if it's not there. If it's there, just allow it to relax. That left shoulder staying down, a little rotation through that waist. If this is early, you don't want to be taking too big a twist right now. Those twists will start to happen as the practice starts to flow. Then bringing that knee back into the centre. Bring that left foot down to the inside of the right thigh. Let that left knee drop out to the side. Let it relax down. Both hips stay facing up. Shoulders plugged into the mat. Just let that gravity take a hold of that left knee to take it into that external rotation. Then bringing that left knee back up, straighten up through that left leg, push the heel away, toes back, feeling that hamstring on the back of that left thigh. Then maybe bring the hands towards the legs. And if you wish to walk those hands up those legs, bringing those shoulders away from the mat, just take a little core contraction here. Keep pushing the heel away, toes back. And then releasing those shoulders back down, take a bend back into your left knee, bring your right knee in to meet the left, give both knees a squeeze into the chest, then make circles with the knees in one direction, and take those knees the opposite way. Bring those knees back into the chest, give them a squeeze. And then just make your way into a seated position, rocking up and down the spine a couple of times first. Just massaging that back. Bringing yourself into a seated position, either cross the legs under or swing the legs around. Finding yourself in kneeling position, trying to keep the heels together, growing tall up through the spine, and just place the hands on top of those thighs. Just close the eyes. Take a moment with those feet in that plantar flexion, tops of the feet flat, toes untucked. Take a breath in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling. And on your out breath, bring your left hand to your right knee, just rotate around to the right, right hand comes behind the body. Just hold it in this rotation for a couple of breaths. Bring those hands back up to the ceiling. This time right hand comes to left knee, rotate to the left. I'm just working with the eyes closed, just to try and connect a little more inwardly. Just to notice the body and how it feels. Next breath in, come back to the centre, arms come back to the ceiling. Bring your right hand down, reach over with the left hand. Just taking some lateral flexion through that waist. Then come back to the centre, bring your left hand down, right hand stays lifted. Lean over to the left side. Bring that hand back down, come up onto the knees. Bring the hands into the lower back, just a baby back bend here, so push the hips forward, lift up through the ribs and lift up through the chest. And feel yourself taking a small back bend here, not going too deep, just moving that body, that spine into extension. And then release the bum back to the heels and just allow that body just to fold over those thighs, bringing the forehead or the top of the head to the mat, and just let those shoulders roll over those thighs just for a few breaths. Starting to restore the breath, ready for the flow practice. Remember, we adipose on throughout the flow. And as we adipose on, we reverse back through those poses, back to our downward facing dog place. So making your way onto your hands and knees, stepping both feet back into a plank position. Then find your down dog, lifting your hips. With your first down dog, maybe you want to paddle those feet, just to let those hamstrings be aware you're going to be moving and stretching and strengthening. We're going to take a few vinyasas in a moment, and we're going to add in those push-up planks. Feel free not to do them if you wish, and just find your way back to down dog. But this month's practice is all about the strength of the shoulders, alongside the movement of the rest of the body, but we're trying to get strength through that upper body. So your next breath in, come forward to a plank position. Option one, drop the knees, untuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows, release down to a hover, then push back up, then release down all the way to the floor. Push into the hands, little baby cobra. Release that chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back towards the thighs. We then push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. So you're free to take option one or option two. Come forward to a plank, turn the creases of the elbows, release to a hover. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release back down to the floor. Untuck the toes, push into the hands, lift up the chest, maybe a bit higher. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back towards the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips. Squeeze those heels back. So option one or two if you wish, or follow with me option three. Forward to plank on the inhale, release to a hover. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release back to a hover. Roll over the toes, lift up the chest, thighs stay away. Then making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back, rolling over those toes. Or your version of bringing chest back towards the thighs. So stick with whichever variation you want to do, or swap them about. Either progress them, regress them. Maybe you want to work with your energy levels. If you start to feel fatigued, just bring that level down one. If you want to energize yourself more, up that level. So starting with the flow. Your breath in, your right leg lifts up towards the ceiling. On your out breath, bring that knee to the chest and squeeze. Raise that leg back up towards the ceiling. Then on your out breath, fall in triangle, bring your right foot underneath your left hand, left leg, drop your left heel down, right foot to the floor, then raise that left hand up to the ceiling, finding that fallen triangle place. So the weight's on the right hand, the left heel's dropping down to the inside of the mat, the right outside edge of the foot is on the floor towards that left side of the mat, and the left hand lifts up to the ceiling. One more breath here. Then bring that left hand back down, raise that right leg back up to the ceiling. Bring that right knee into the chest. Raise that leg back up. And right foot back to meet the left. Take a vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank on the inhale. On option 1, dropping the knees and tucking the toes. Releasing down to a hover. Pushing into the hands to lift back up with the chest. Release that chest back down. Push into the hands, lift the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back towards those thighs. We push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. So that's right side done one pose. Left side, raise that left leg up towards the ceiling. On your out breath, bring that left knee to the chest and squeeze. Raise that left leg back up to the ceiling. On your out breath, bring that left knee to the chest, then send that left foot underneath the right hand, right foot. Right heel drops. Then raise that right hand to the ceiling, fallen triangle, turning to the right. So the weight's on the left hand, right heel's dropped internally. Left outside edge of the foot is to the right side of the mat. And we turn and twist that chest to the right. If it's uncomfortable to have that right hand lifted, you can always keep that right hand to the floor if you wish, and just take that rotation of the waist. One more breath here. Then bring that right hand back down, left leg lifts, come onto the toes of the back foot. Bring that knee back into the chest and squeeze. Raise that leg back up to the ceiling and bring that left foot down to meet the right. Take a vinyasa here of your choice. Forward to plank, inhale. I'm taking option 2, release down to a hover, straight body. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release down, straight body all the way to the floor. Untuck the toes, push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes, chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands and feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. So that is first flow 1 pose. So we're going to add side plank onto this. So when we've come to side plank, we then go back through fallen triangle to reverse back through and then make our way back to down dog again. So on your in-breath, right leg lifts. On your out-breath, we bring that knee to the chest. On your in-breath, right leg lifts. On your out-breath, thread that right foot in between left hand, left foot, drop the left heel. Left hand lifts, fallen triangle just for a breath. Then bring that left hand back down. Bring your right foot around to find side plank. Come onto that left hand. Both legs straight, or drop that left knee if you wish. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. So coming back through, bringing your right hand back down. Your right foot comes back through, underneath the left hand, left foot, fallen triangle, just for a breath. Then bring that left hand back down, raise that right leg up to the ceiling, bring that knee towards the chest, right leg lifts, right foot back to meet the left, and take a vinyasa of your choice here. I'm taking option 3, forward to plank, release to a hover, push into the hands and lift up the chest, release back to a hover, rolling over the toes, lifting the chest. Making my way back to down dog, you can go either chest back to thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Same on the left side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, bring that knee to the chest. Breath in, raise that left leg. On your out breath, thread the left leg underneath the right hand, right foot, drop the right heel. Fallen triangle, right hand lifts just for a breath. Then bring your right hand back down, take your left foot around, come onto the side edge of your right foot. Bring your weight onto your right hand, find side plank on that right side body. Remember, you can drop that right knee if you need to. Then transitioning back through, bring your left hand back down, scoop your left foot underneath, drop your right heel, fallen triangle, facing the right. Then bring your right hand back down to the floor, lift your left leg, come onto the toes of the back foot, bring the knee back into the chest, raise that leg back up, left foot down to meet the right, and take a vinyasa of your choice. I'm back to option 1, forward to plank. Release the knees and tuck the toes, turn the creases of the elbows, release down to a hover, push into the hands and lift up the chest. Release back all the way to the floor, lift up the chest into a back bend, take yourself back to downward facing dog. Pushing into the hands and feet, lifting the hips and squeezing those heels back. So we have another pose to add on, side angle stretch. So listening to the cues as we transition. So going through fallen triangle first, side plank, then side angle stretch. Breath in, right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest. Raise that leg. Bring that right foot through under the left hand, left foot. Left heel comes down, left hand lifts, weight onto that right hand. Then bring that left hand back down, bring that right foot over, find side plank on your left side. Then bend your right knee in towards you, take a hold of the ankle, bring your right foot forward, drop the left heel internally, right hand comes to the inside of the right foot, left hand lifts and then points forward towards the front of the room. So the right hand is in the inside of the right leg, right knee is bent, left leg is straight. The hand is pointing forward to the front of the mat, maybe gazing towards that left palm. That right shoulder keeps that right knee pushing out. Energetically push into both feet. So to transition back, bring your left hand back to the floor, take your right foot back, side plank, right hand lifts. Bring your right hand back to the mat, scoop your right foot under, left heel drops. Find triangle to the left. Then bring your left hand down to the floor. Come onto the toes of the back foot. Raise the right leg up to the ceiling. Bring the knee into the chest. Raise that right leg. Bring your right foot to meet the left. So take a flow vinyasa of your choice on option 2, forward to plank. Release down to a hover. Push into the hands and lift, keep that core center strong. Release down to the floor, untuck the toes, push into the hands and lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under with the toes, chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. So taking the same on the left side, your breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, knee comes to the chest. Raise that left leg. Breath out, bring that left foot through and under to the right side of the mat, drop the right heel, raise the right hand, weight on the left. Then bring that right hand back down, bring that left leg around, find side plank on the right, both legs straight. Then bring that left knee into the chest, take a hold of the ankle, bring that left foot forward, drop the right heel internally, left hand to the floor on the inside of the left foot as you reach forward with that right hand to the front of the mat. Sink those hips, use that left shoulder to hold that left knee out to the side. Back leg nice and straight, pushing into the outside edge of that foot. Feeling that stretch along that right side body from the fingertips down to the outside edge of the right foot. Then bringing your right hand back down, find your way back, side plank. Left foot goes back to meet the right, left arm lifts. Bring your left hand down, left foot scoops through, find fallen triangle, right hand lifts, weight into the left hand. Bring your right hand back down to the floor, lift the left leg, come onto the toes of the back foot. Bring that knee into the chest, raise that leg, back up. Bring your left foot down to meet the right and take a vinyasa of your choice. I'm going option 3, forward to plank, release down to hover, push back up, full plank, release down back to a hover, roll through, up, lift up the chest, making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Then making your way down onto your knees, bring your big toes together, sit those to the heels. Choice to either find child's pose or if you wish to take on some water to hydrate. Preparing yourself for the next 2 poses being added onto the flow. So we'll do 2 more rounds on both sides and then we'll take another water break. So quite a challenging pose. There's lots of pressure being put in wrists, a lot of pressure being put through shoulders. Just remember to be mindful, if something doesn't feel right, if you're in your side planks, drop that base knee. Work your bodies to however it feels good for you. And remember, there's always this restful child pose place if you wish to just take some restorative breaths. Remember, you can drop the vinyasas. Remember, if you're doing the vinyasas and you want to drop the push-up planks, feel free to do so. The one thing you don't want to do is start to make the poses no longer integral. We need to make those poses nice and firm, nice and aligned. Don't let the fatigue make them become lazy. Take the breaks when you need. One more breath here. Then making your way back up onto your hands and knees, bringing the knees back into the hips, stepping both feet back into a plank, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. So we are going to do a bind on the side angle pose, which was the last pose we did at the end. And then we will transition through to the next pose from there. Just want to do a bound angle. I just want to do a bind in that pose, just so you can choose that or not. So breath in, right leg lifts. Breath out, bring that knee into the chest. Breath in, right leg lifts. Breath out, that right foot scoops through and between the left foot, left hand. Lift the left hand to the ceiling, fallen triangle, pushing into that right hand. Then bring that left hand down, bring your right foot around, find side plank. Weight on the left side, right hand lifts. Bring that right knee into the chest, take a hold of the ankle, bring that foot forward. Drop the left heel down, bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot, left hand lifts, then goes forward to the front of the mat. This is where we're going to take a bind for a couple of breaths if you wish to do it. Left hand comes behind the back, right hand comes underneath that right thigh. And take a hold of the fingertips at the back without dropping through that left shoulder. Keep everything turned to that left side of the room. Just holding here for a couple of breaths. It's the one and only time on this side that we're going to bind in this pose. And we'll bind on the other side. And then we'll be no longer binding in this place. If you're bound, release the hands, right hand to the floor, left hand forward, and then take it into reverse warrior. So lifting the shoulders over the hips, then sending the right hand up to the ceiling, left hand down the back of the left leg, or round the back of the body to find the bind onto that right thigh. Breathing into that right rib cage. Keeping bent into that right knee. Holding it just for one more breath here. Remember, we're transitioning back through all poses. So bringing your right hand back down to the floor, reach up and over with your left hand. Bring your left hand down to the mat. Make your way back, side plank. Raise the right hand to the ceiling in side plank. Bring your right hand back down to the floor. Bring your right foot through underneath the left foot, left hand. Then raise that left hand, find that fallen triangle facing the left. Bring that left hand back down to the floor. Raise that right leg, left heel squeezes to the mat. Bring that knee to the chest. Raise that right leg. Bring that right foot to the floor. And flow a vinyasa of your choice, either with push up in or not. I'm taking option 2, release to a hover, push back up, release all the way to the floor, roll through, up, lift up the chest, release the chest back down to come to the toes, chest back to the thighs, push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Same on your left side, your left leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest. Raise that left leg. Bring that left foot underneath the right foot, right hand. Drop the right heel down. Find that triangle pose facing the left. Weight into the left hand. Sorry, facing the right. Weight into the left hand. Bring your right hand down. Bring your left up hand, foot around. Find side plank. Left hand lifts. Bring that knee of the left into the chest. Take hold of the ankle or the foot. Bring your left foot forward. Drop your right heel down. Left hand to the inside of the left foot as you reach the right hand up and over. Find the bind if you wish. Right hand comes behind the back. Left hand comes underneath that left thigh. Keep the chest open. Shoulders turn to the right. And try not to collapse too much over that left thigh, keeping the head in line with the spine, pushing nice and energetically into both feet. Holding it in the bind for a couple of breaths. Then releasing the bind, reach up and over with the right hand. Then find that reverse warrior using the oblique strength to lift those shoulders up, over. Right hand can be behind the right leg, or just bring it into a bind onto that left thigh. Keeping that left knee bent, gazing up into that left hand. Breathing into that left rib cage. So reversing back through, left hand comes down, right hand comes up and over. Then bring your right hand to the floor, come into side plank, left hand comes back, come onto the knife edge of the right foot and the right hand. Then bring that left hand back down, bring your left foot through, find fallen triangle, right hand lifts. And then bring your right hand back down to the floor, reach up with your left foot up to the ceiling, bring the knee into the chest, raise that leg, left foot back to meet the right, and take a flow vinyasa of your choice. Forward to plank on the inhale, I'm taking option 3, release to a hover, push back up full plank, release to a hover, roll over the toes, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Adding another pose onto the end, we're forgetting the bind's inside angle. So your breath in, right leg lifts. Breath out, knee to chest. Breath in, right leg lifts. Breath out, bring that right foot through and under. Fallen triangle, left hand lifts, weight into the right hand. Bring your left hand back down, bring your right foot around, find side plank, and your right hand lifts. Bring your right foot into the chest, take a hold of the ankle, bring your right foot forward, left heel drops internally, right hand comes to the floor, left hand comes up and over, side angle stretch. Find yourself into reverse warrior just for a breath, left hand down the back of the left leg, right hand lifts. Then straighten the right leg, reach forward and down with the right hand, triangle pose, left hand lifts, gaze up to that left thumb. So think about tucking your right bum cheek under, turning your left hip out, right shoulder stacks underneath the left. Try not to hyperextend through that right knee. Keep a little micro bend there and use the muscles around that joint. One more breath here and then we'll reverse back through. Take a bend into your right knee, bring your right hand up, find reverse warrior, left hand down the left leg. Then bring your right hand down to the floor, left arm comes up, over, side angle stretch. Bring your left hand down to the floor, find side plank, facing the right, right hand lifts. Bring your right hand back to the floor, bring your right foot underneath, drop the left heel down, find fallen triangle. Left hand comes down to the floor, right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest and squeeze. Right leg lifts. Bring that right foot to the floor. Take a vinyasa of your choice. I'm back to option one, forward to plank inhale. Releasing the knees, turning the creases of the elbows, release down towards the floor. Push back up. Release down. Roll through, lift the chest. Make your way back to down dog. If you're already there, just taking a few breaths in down dog before I get back. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back, and down to the left side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, bring the knee to the chest and squeeze. Left leg lifts. Scoop that left foot underneath the right hand, right leg. Raise the right hand, fallen triangle, weight into the left hand. Bring that right hand back down to the floor, left foot comes up and over. Find side plank on your right, left hand lifts. Bring that left knee into the chest, take a hold of the ankle, bring your left foot through. Drop your right heel down, left hand comes to the inside of the left foot, right hand lifts up, over, side angle stretch. Stabilize the feet as you start to use those oblique muscles to bring yourself to reverse warrior. Left hand lifts, right hand goes down the back of the right leg. Then straighten the left leg, reach forward and down with the left hand. Right hand lifts. Keep that chest and shoulders and hips turn to the right side of the room. Slight micro bend in that left knee, switch on the muscles around the thighs. Muscles around the waist are holding us in a slightly compromised position. Then on your breath in, reverse back through, bend into your left knee, bring your left hand up and over, right hand down the back of the right leg, reverse warrior. Then bring your left hand down to the inside of the left foot, right hand comes up and over, side angle stretch. Right hand comes down to the floor, make your way to side plank on the right side, left foot comes back, left hand lifts. Bring your left hand back to the floor, scoop your left foot under and over to the right side of the mat, drop the right heel, right hand lifts to fallen triangle. Bring your right hand back down to the floor, left foot lifts up to the ceiling. Bring that knee to the chest, squeeze. raise that left leg. Bring the left foot back to the floor. Take a vinyasa of your choice. I'm option 2, forward to plank, inhale. Release to a hover. Push back up, plank. Release all the way to the floor. Untuck the toes. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release back down, tuck under with the toes. Chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. So we're going to add one more pose onto the end and then we'll take a break before we do the last two. A really long, flowy practice today. Challenging those muscles, those shoulder strengths. So warrior 2 is going to be added onto the end of that flow. Breath in, right leg lifts. Breath out, knee to the chest. Breath in, raise the right leg. Breath out, bring that right foot through and under. Find fallen triangle, left hand lifts. Bring your left hand back down to the floor. Find side plank on the left. Right leg stacks on top of the left and the right hand lifts. Bring the knee into the chest, take a hold of the foot. Bring it forward, drop the left heel internally. Right hand to the inside of the right foot. Left hand lifts up and over. Side angle stretch. Bring yourself back, reverse warrior. Right knee stays bent, right hand lifts, left hand down the back of the left leg. Then find triangle, straighten the right leg. Right hand comes up and over and down to the inside of the right shin, left hand lifts. Take a bend back into your right knee, find warrior 2. So hold this pose for a couple of breaths. Sink into those hips. Push energetically into the feet, relax the shoulders and lengthen the arms. Think about lifting the lower belly up, tucking the tailbone under. Good, strong warrior 2. Reversing back through, straighten the front leg. Right hand comes down to the inside of the right leg, left hand lifts. Bend into that right knee, reverse the warrior, left hand down the back of the left hand, right hand lifts. Bring your right hand back down to the inside of the right foot, left arm up and over, side angle stretch. Left hand comes down to the floor, roll over onto your left side, right leg stacks on top of the left, side plank. Bring your right hand back down to the floor, bring your right foot through, in between the left hand, left foot, fallen triangle facing the left, weighting the right hand. Bring that left hand back down to the floor, raise that right leg up to the ceiling, bring that knee back into the chest, raise that leg, right foot to meet the left, and take a vinyasa here of your choice. I'm option 3, come forward to plank, release to a hover, push into the hands, lift up the chest, release to a hover, roll through up, thighs stay away. I'm transitioning back to down dog by rolling over the toes, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Just taking a moment in down dog before we do the left side. Breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, knee to chest. Breath in, left leg lifts. Breath out, thread the left foot under, fallen triangle, drop the right heel, lift the right hand. Bring your right hand back down to the floor, bring your left leg around and find side plank on the right, left hand lifting. Bring the left knee into the chest, take a hold of the foot, bring the left foot forward, drop the right heel, left hand to the inside of the left foot, right hand up and over. Then reverse the warrior, left hand comes up, right hand comes down the back of the right leg. Then straighten the left leg, reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts, triangle pose. Find warrior 2, bending that left knee, shoulders come over the hips. Settle in here for a few breaths. Crown of the head stacked on top of the spine. That lower part of the spine centered in between both feet. Left knee bent, left knee turned out to the side, pushing into the outside edge of the right foot. So transitioning back through, straighten the left leg, left hand comes to the inside of the left leg, right hand lifts. Take a bend back into that left knee, lift the left hand up and over, reverse warrior, right hand down the back of the right leg. Then bring that left hand back down to the floor, reach up and over with the right hand, side angle stretch. Bring your right hand to the mat, find your way back to side plank on the right, left hand lifts. Bring the left hand back down to the floor, scoot your left foot under and through, drop the right heel, fallen triangle to the right. Bring your right hand back down to the floor, raise your left leg up to the ceiling, bring the knee to the chest, raise that leg, left foot back to the floor, and take that vinyasa of your choice, forward to plank. Inhale, I'm taking option 1, drop the knees and tuck the toes, release the chest to a hover, push into the hands and lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, push into the hands, take it to a back bend, finding your way back to down dog. Pushing into those hands and feet, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Just coming down onto your knees, you have the choice to take child's pose or take on some water if you wish. So we have one more pose to add on to that flow. And I'm going to give you the option of binding here, but it will be a lunge rotation if you don't bind, but I'll cue you the binds if you wish to take them. Ooh, it's warm. Real strong practice this, guys, so if you're following and continuing through it all, if you're doing your push-up planks, all respect to you. If you're now having a few moments in this child's pose, just restoring the breath, getting yourself ready for the last flow on both the right and left sides. Remember, when we've finished with that last pose, we will still transition back through all the rest of the poses. So when you're ready, coming up into tabletop, stepping back to plank, raising the hips back to down dog without fussing with those hands and feet. Take a nice long deep breath in, long breath out. Next breath in, right leg lifts. Bring that knee to the chest, squeeze. Raise that right leg. Bring that right foot underneath, drop the left heel down, left hand lifts, fallen triangle. Bring your left hand back down, bring your right foot around, find side plank on the left, right hand lifts. Bring that right foot in towards you, take a hold of the ankle, right foot comes forward, drop the left heel down, right hand comes to the inside of the right foot as the left hand lifts up and over. Bring those shoulders now over the hips, find your reverse warrior, left hand down the back of the left leg. Then straighten the right leg, right hand comes to the inside of that right shin, left hand lifts. So we're going to bring a bend back into that right knee and find your warrior 2. Then scooping the left arm down and around, come onto the toes of the back foot, bring the palms together, left elbow hooks over that right knee, and we rotate to the right side. So here comes the choice for the bind, half bind. Right hand comes around and grabs hold of that left side waist. If you want the full bound, the left hand comes underneath that right thigh and you find your fingertips near that space of that left hip. And we twist and rotate a little more by turning, pushing that left arm into that right outside edge of the thigh. So choice to bind or not. If you're not binding, palms can be together and just keep that left elbow hooked. One more breath in this space. Remember, we're reversing back through. So if you're bound, release the bind, bring the palms back together, bring the shoulders back forward, drop the back heel, arms come to warrior 2, right knee stays bent. Straighten the right leg, right hand comes down to the inside of the right leg, left hand lifts, triangle pose. Bend back into your right knee. Find reverse warrior, right hand lift, left hand down the back of the left leg. Then find side angle stretch, right hand to the inside of the right foot, left hand lifts up and over. Bring the left hand down to the floor, step your right foot back, side plank, right hand lifts. Bring your right hand back down to the mat, bring your left foot through, right foot through, triangle, fallen to the left side, left hand lifts, left hand back to the floor, right leg lifts up to the ceiling, bring the knee to the chest, squeeze, raise the right leg back up, right foot back to meet the left, take a vinyasa of your choice, forward to plank on the inhale. I'm taking option 2, coming to a hover, pushing into the hands, lifting the chest, releasing all the way to the floor for me, pushing into the hands, lift up the chest, back bend, making your way back to down dog. Knee, chest back to thighs, or you can roll straight over those toes. Bringing the heels back, take a nice long deep breath in. Last side, long breath out. Breath in, left leg lifts. Bring the knee to the chest. Raise that leg. Then bring that left foot through and under. Drop the right heel, fallen triangle. Bring the right hand back down. Find side angle onto the right side. Side plank onto the right side. Bring your left knee into the chest, take a hold of the ankle, bring your left foot through, drop your right heel down, left hand to the inside of the left foot, right hand lifts up and over, side angle stretch. Reverse warrior, use those oblique strength to lift that torso. Left hand goes up, right hand down the back of the right leg. Then straighten the left leg, left hand comes to the inside of the left shin, right hand lifts up to the ceiling. Bend into your left knee, find warrior 2. Then scoop the right arm around, come onto the toes of the back foot, palms come together, right elbow hooks over the left knee. Choice to stay here, or if you're finding a bind, half bind, left hand comes behind the back. Full bind, right hand comes underneath that left thigh to find the fingertips just at the side of that right hip. Keep that chest turning, maybe the gaze going up, back leg straight, left knee bent. So just holding it in the bind, or you may be just in rotation, palms together, that's all cool. Don't have to find these binds if the limbs don't want to work. Then release the bind if you're bound, bring the hands together at the chest, bring the shoulders back up, forward, drop the back heel, turn the shoulders and hips to the right side, warrior 2. Straighten the left leg, reach forward and down with the left hand, right hand lifts, triangle pose. Take a bend back into the left knee, left hand comes up and over to reverse that warrior. Bring yourself back to side angle stretch, left hand down, right hand up and over. Then bring your right hand down, roll over side plank on the right, left hand lifts. Bring the left hand back down to the floor, scoop the left foot under, fallen triangle for the last time. Then bring your right hand back down to the floor, raise the left leg up to the ceiling, bring the knee to the chest, raise that leg, left foot to the floor, and take a vinyasa. Last vinyasa of your choice, I'm option 3, forward chaturanga. Lower, lift, lower to hover. Roll over the toes, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Take a breath in down dog. Then make your way into a seat, a well-deserved seat to the mat. Maybe you wish to take on some water. Before we bring you down, go a few restorative poses before relaxation. Just bring the backs down to the mat. No need to use that core strength. We've done quite a lot of hard work on that core already. Those transitions really need that core strength to keep that balance. So just bringing the knees into the chest as you've laid on the back, squeezing the knees in as close as you can into the body, keeping the lower part of the spine on the floor, the shoulders plugged into the mat. And just take a couple of breaths. Your in-breath, just let the knees release a little. And your out-breath, squeeze them back in. In-breath, let them release a little. And your out-breath, squeeze them back in. Do a few more to your breath. In-breath, the knees come away from the body. Out-breath, we squeeze them back in. Next time you squeeze them back in, bring the elbows to the inside of the knees. Take a hold of either the shins, the ankles, the outside of the feet or the big toes with peace fingers. And just let those heels stack over the knees. Soles of the feet pointing up. Try and keep the back nice and flat, the shoulders relaxed, squeezing those thighs in towards the rib cages. Knees in towards the armpits, just finding that little openness through those hips. Maybe have a little rock from side to side just to massage that spine, thanking it for its movement, for its practice. And bring the elbows to the outside of the knees, keeping a hold of some part of the leg or the feet as you stretch up, pushing the heels away, having a little hamstring stretch down the back of those legs just for a breath. And then releasing those feet to the floor, bring the hands down by the side of the body. Take a couple of rolling bridges to get into these hip flexors. Push into the feet, lift up the hips, send them up to the ceiling, chest towards the chin, and on your out breath, slowly let them come back to the mat. And again, push into those feet, bring the hips as high as you wish. On your out breath, release those hips back to the mat. One more time, raise those hips back up to the ceiling. And release those hips back to the floor. Bring the knees and feet together. Just bring the arms out to a T shape. And just allow the knees to windscreen right from one side to the other. Just feeling that rotation through the spine. Taking it one side and back through centre over to the other. One more each side. When you come back to the centre, choice to either stay with the knees bent and the feet out to the edges of the mat, knees dropping in. Really good for the lower backs if they're feeling a little tight. Or bring the feet together, let the knees drop out to the sides. Good for the inner groin if you're tight in that space. Or if you wish to find your relaxation with the legs straight, bringing those feet to the ends of the mat, widening the legs and letting the feet drop out to the sides wherever you are. With the legs, just bring the hands down by the sides of the body, let the palms face up and the fingers gently curl. Just take a moment to find that space of comfort, find that comfortable part at the back of the head, whether moving the head from side to side. When you've found that comfortable space, take a nice long deep breath in. And a long sigh out through the mouth. And let everything relax to the floor. Close the eyes. Relax the forehead, the jaw, the tongue. Let the lips gently part. Take in that scan of the body. And if you come across any tight spots, give a squeeze to those muscles. And then let those muscles release. So maybe you want to stay here for a little longer. If you do, pause me now. And if you're coming out with me, starting to wriggle those fingers and those toes. Maybe rotating the wrists, rotating with the ankles. Maybe you wish to take that full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes, maybe arching into that lower back. And then bringing those hands up and over, bringing one knee at a time in towards the chest. Giving those knees a squeeze, maybe a rock of the body from side to side. Now your choice can either be to roll over onto your side or come up more energetically by rocking up and down that spine a couple of times, up to seated once, back down, up to seated twice, back down. Then the next time you come to seated, finding that comfortable space. If you're laid on the side, make your way into your seated position, either cross-legged on the knees or the legs out in front, placing the hands on top of the thighs, keeping those eyes gently closed. Then on your next in-breath, bring the hands up and over the head, bring the palms together at the top, bring the hands then back to the chest, rub the palms of the hands together to create some heat in the palms. Then placing those palms over the eyes, blinking into the palms, allowing some light through the fingers. Take a breath in. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, have peace in your words, have peace in your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.